I called off my engagement and I'm finally ready to tell you guys the tea. When he proposed to me, guys, I knew he wasn't the right one. When he proposed, I should have said no. I should have said no. In the Bible, there was a couple named Sarah and Abraham, and Sarah was too old to have a baby. And God told her, he gave her a promise over her life and said, you are going to bear a child. And she didn't really fully believe what the Lord had told her. And so she proceeds to tell her and her husband's servant, Hagar, hey, you can sleep with my husband to give us a child. And so Abraham slept with Hagar, the servant. They had a child together. And then Sarah ended up getting jealous. That man, I ain't gonna lie, Abraham, you was tweaking for even listening to Shorty idea. But anyway, then Sarah gets jealous. It caused all of this extraness, right? But in the right season and right timing, God still gave Sarah the baby that he promised her, the promised child. So that just goes to show that when God gives us a promise over our life and it doesn't happen as fast or in the way that we think it should happen, we like to take matters into our own hands and try to birth a counterfeit version of the covenant that the Lord gave us, right? And so this is basically what happened in my situation. At the beginning of my walk, the first thing that the Lord ever spoke to me was that he called me to be a wife. He gave me a marriage promise. This was one of the first ways the Lord ever spoke to me. I wasn't seeking a husband, to be honest. My book, Hoda Housewife, is out on Amazon. Link is in my bio. And I was not focused on that. But when I gave my life to Christ, he told me, I called you to be a wife, to preach the gospel, to do this, to deliver souls, to the He even spoke the podcast. I mean, this is even a perfect example of God's promise that he spoke. Mind you, this was almost I think it's been like 4 years ago. That is just now coming into fruition in his perfect season and perfect timing, right? And so he spoke to me all these things. And I had some toxic relationships in the past, right? Being manipulated and abused mentally, emotionally, verbally, and sometimes even physically in relationships. And I wasn't perfect either. I was living a worldly lifestyle. I was an entertainer, working in the strip clubs, doing OnlyFans modeling, Instagram modeling, just trying to live this fast life, chasing fame, clout. I did worldly music, and I talk about it all in my book. And so I wasn't perfect either. But so I was so hurt and traumatized by those relationships that I felt like I had to prove to them what the Lord had told me, because, you know, the enemies and the haters are going to laugh at your face if you share the things that God has spoken to you in your quiet time with him. And so I'm like, yeah, that's why God called me to be a wife. I'm going to be a husband. My ex is like, girl, bye. You ain't never going, blah, blah, blah. You ain't never going. Devil is a lie. And so I just wanted to prove so bad, you know, to people, because I had so many haters and I wanted to prove them all wrong. I wanted to prove that the devil was a lie in my own strength. And looking back, I wouldn't have been ready at that time. God knows the perfect timing. And the Bible says for everything there is a season. And listen, your girl's coming into that season, okay? Because I know you see it. This is a prophetic declaration of what the Lord is speaking to me. But anyway, this is not about that. And the counterfeit always comes before the real thing. So you have to have a very strong discernment, just like with the Louis or Gucci bag. Some of y'all discernment is so strong, y'all be able to spot the real and the fake ones immediately. Me, I don't know. I ain't gonna lie. You might fool me a little bit. That was just that there. Wasn't the right timing, wasn't the right season, wasn't the right purpose. I was trying to birth a promise that God had given me in my own strengths. But now let's get into the realty. You guys want to know the realty of how I knew. How was I able to tell that this was the counterfeit? How was I able to? Because this person, listen, was and is a man of God, not perfect, but seeking the Lord, right? Just like us all. And he went to church. We were reading Bible verses, together via FaceTime and all this stuff. And we lived in different cities about 3 hours apart. And he was driving here to see me. He was doing all the right things. On our first date, he told me all the things that basically I see people say, or he just said the things that made sense in a God-ordained union. He's like, 6 months, I'm going to make you my wife. Like, da-da-da-da. He came with intent. He came with all these things that I liked, right? We love a man who's intentional. So men, still be intentional. But long story short, moved him to my state, and we got an apartment together before marriage, which wasn't right, but we thought it was right because we were literally planning to get married like any day now. We was like, we can just go to the courthouse and wrap this up, like maybe we'll have a small wedding, yada yada yada. He started attending my church with me and all these things, but there was just subtle things. Like, there was a competitiveness. He also felt like he was called, I was called. I'm very driven, I'm very purpose-filled, purpose-led. There was competitiveness, envy, jealousy. When we would just spend time together at home or be out in public, he would like give me the cold shoulder and the silent treatment, wouldn't talk to me, but would be all in my child's face playing with him. And it's like, okay, listen, the man God has for you is not going to be treating you like this. Why? It's a little like narcissism in there. Like, what, like, why are we spending time together and like you won't talk to me, but you'll be keying with all your homies? Like, it's weird. Like, we ain't been in this for years or something. Like, we in the beginning, we should still be in the butterfly stage, And he just wouldn't talk to me. It was like pulling teeth to get a compliment out of him. And there was just things, there was signs, there was just, listen, I knew he wasn't the right one. When he proposed, I should have said no. I should have said no. But I said yes because I just wanted the promise so bad. And clearly that shows my lack of faith and that I didn't trust the Lord. And yeah, so pretty soon it just got built up to a point where it was like, it was obvious that this was not of God. When we lived together, it was very depressing. We went through a lot. It was just like the Lord's hand and grace and favor and love and mercy was not over it. One of the signs you can tell you are out of season or in a place you shouldn't be is when the grace of the Lord has been lifted, has been removed. Like, this is the first sign I can usually tell it's time for me to get out of anywhere, any situation, any season, any job, any church, any community group, ministry, whatever. It's like I can tell when God removes his grace from the situation. And so basically I sent him back to where he was from. I almost said the place. I sent him back to where he was from. Another thing I want to throw in is like he wouldn't talk to me behind closed doors at home in our personal time, but when we'd be at church, he was just a stand-up guy, great with words, talking about how he wants to do ministry and teach men to mend and heal. And it's like, you are like literally like the devil to me behind closed doors. Y'all know that's how them narcissists do. And so yeah, I don't want to come on here to bash anybody. I just really want to tell you guys that when God gives you a promise, it's yes and amen. His word does not return void. He is not a liar. He is not man. And so really wait on him, his timing, his perfect will, because what he's going to give you is going to last. He's trying to give you one of them die in rocking chairs type of marriages. Okay. And if you go try to do things in your own strength, that's why we see things like divorce happening and all these, because those were marriages that were birthed in their own strength. Those were not marriages that were birthed by God or ordained by God. Those were people going and doing stuff on their own. Okay. And so be patient, wait on his timing, because listen, the counterfeit always comes before the real thing, and the real thing is coming. But if you know that the person that you're with is not from God, but it's just like you can see it right now, right? It's comfortable. It's convenient. You are showing God that you don't trust him just because you don't see someone else ready. No, you're going to have to break up with the person you with, separate, and wait it out. just like we all did. But I'm telling you, it's going to be so worth it in the end. So that's pretty much, long story short, very short, why I called off my engagement. That person was not my God ordained spouse. And sometimes when God gives us a promise, we just get excited. We just get really excited about it, as you should. You should be excited. But don't rush and don't try to birth it in your own strength. Wait for the one. Like the story of Abraham and Sarah. They birthed an Ishmael, and shout out to Ishmael. We still love him. He's still a son of God. But don't birth an Ishmael waiting on your Isaac. Isaac was the covenant. Ishmael technically was the counterfeit. And you know, you could have just avoid a lot of strife and a lot of problems if you just do it God's way. Because Sarah started hating on Hagar, and then even Ishmael had to deal with like always being rejected and treated and looked at weird, because that was just like he was born into the curse of that, you know. And so I really encourage you guys, if God gave you a promise, wait on his timing. Wait on his time. Oh, I don't know why. I'm not a singer, y'all, but I do play too much. Wait on the Lord. Wait on the Lord. He will renew your strength. So wait on him. Wait on the Lord. Wait on the Lord. He will renew your strength. So wait on him. That's what happens when you wait. Yeah. You get a little stronger. That's what happens when you wait. Yeah. You get a little stronger. And not only that, you get the real thing. So hit the subscribe button. Follow my Instagram at Jada P Official. And don't forget to order my book on Amazon, Hoda Housewife, How to Be a Christian. See you guys real soon, like ASAP, like tomorrow. Bye.